I'm an actor, and it is really cool to be in Mississippi for like the second time in a couple of months, which is really, I was in Tupelo giving a speech a couple months ago, so it's great to be here. I'm going to spend a lot of time here between now and tomorrow when I go home. Anyway, so if there are any questions, because I'm not sure what you guys want to talk about, I did the Ghostbusters movies, and They Hand the Rocks to Cradle and Congo and a bunch of other things over the last 50 years. Been acting for about 50 years. And now I just realized I'm an old person. Not that I realize it, but people have a way of reminding you that you're not as young as you used to be. But anyway, yeah. So whatever you guys want to talk about.
We'll take some questions. Let me seriously bum you guys out though for just a second. If I could have you put away your video, your cell phones, and anything you're recording with on a video, that would be great. Okay, thanks. Before you got here, I was telling the crowd that when I married this young lady right here, like 10 years ago, she had not ever seen Ghostbusters, but she was like, when we were talking about coming to the con, she was like, "Oh, Solomon from Hand That Rocks the Cradle." Like, that's how she knows you, from Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
There you go.
She's never seen Ghostbusters, though, so let's shame her if you would like to.
Well, the new movie's coming out next month, and we all did cameos in it. Me, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd. I saw the movie about a week ago, and it's really, really good. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised. The ladies are really funny. The jumpsuits look ridiculous on them, though. I don't know. They could have did a better job. I'm sorry. But the movie's good. I think ours is like cooler. Those stripes are a little weird to me, but it's really good. So I think you'll like it.
Awesome. Who has a question? Let's start over here and we'll work our way around. How about that? We'll start with you right here.
Ernie?
Hey.
I had a question for you about the scene in Ghostbusters with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He blows up and y'all get covered. What actually was that stuff that covered y'all up, and how come Bill Murray didn't have hardly any on him while the rest of you guys were pretty well covered?
Well, the marshmallow, all that stuff was shaving cream. They had these big vats of shaving cream, and they poured it over all of us. And the reason Bill Murray didn't have much on him is because he made a lot more money than I did. So he's Bill Murray, so there you go. And we thought it'd be funny if he kind of came out with like nothing on. It kind of wasn't planned, but it worked out pretty good. I had no say about anything, so they just kept dumping crap on me all the time.
How did you first hear about the role, and what did they have you do in the audition?
Well, I pretty much had to just beg. Just get on my knees and beg, please. No, not really. I did a movie called Space Hunter with Ivan Reitman, who produced and directed Ghostbusters, and Ivan produced that movie, and Harold Ramis was one of the writers on the movie when I first met the guys. So we did Space Hunter. It came out in 3D with Peter Strauss and Molly Ringwald when she was a little girl. So it was about a year before Ghostbusters, and then when they were doing Ghostbusters, they felt I was all wrong for the movie because in Space Hunter, my head is shaved and I'm a bigger than life kind of character, and my voice is lower, and so I had a hard time getting an audition. It took me about 3 months, but I finally got an audition, and I was a single dad at the time, so I needed a job, and so that line about if there's a steady paycheck in it really applies in my case. So, but I went in and auditioned, and it's funny, I guess, for whatever reason, I ended up with the job. I mean, actors are funny because you never know for sure why you got the job, and you never know for sure why you didn't get the job. But I'm just thankful that, they chose me.
Question. Over this way. Anybody? Question? Up, in the back. Got one. Oh! Come here, Ghostbuster. You can come up here. There you go. Come on. Don't be afraid of ghosts or asking a question.
Mr. Hudson,
Yes.
was the movie really in New York? Was it filmed in New York?
Yes, the movie was, we filmed, the movie takes place in New York, and I think it's a great New York movie. I don't know if you guys spend much time up there, but we shot 8 weeks in New York, 2 months. We rehearsed up there for about 2 weeks, and then we went to Los Angeles to do all the interior stuff. So all the inside shots were done in Los Angeles, but all the outside stuff, the buildings and driving and street stuff, that was in New York.
Good question.
And now the new movie is supposed to be in New York, but they shot it in Boston, which is, you can't tell the difference. But I could, but I'm just saying, you know, it ain't New York. But anyway.
What was it like working alongside Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd?
Yeah, no, you know, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, in fact, I saw them, I had dinner with them a couple of nights ago, and I like them a lot. They're great guys, you know, a little quirky, but that's okay. I think to be in this business, you have to be a little quirky, you know. But when you're quirky, that's one thing. When you're really successful and rich and quirky, that's a whole different quirky, you know. But I liked them a lot, and it was a lot of fun. They were really cool. I had some issues with some things, but it wasn't from them. You know, the studios was a little weird, but I like them a lot, and I still like them. They're still quirky, but that's okay.
Bill is an interesting guy, and Dan has actually been very good to the city of Jackson, as most Jacksonians know. He spent a lot of time here, and I think he's an honorary sheriff's deputy.
Oh, really?
And donated some vehicles to the sheriff's department. Yeah,
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't
absolutely.
Know that. Oh, okay.
We love Dan Aykroyd in Mississippi.
Okay.
Over here.
I read somewhere that they actually weighted Bill Murray's pack down so he would be a little more disgruntled when he was doing his ad-libbing in the show. Is that true? Do you know anything about that?
I don't know, but now that you said, I'm wondering if they weighed mine down too. I know it's kind of heavy, but I never thought about it. I don't know, I never heard that. It's kind of not likely because, you know, you don't really want to irritate Bill Murray because, well...
He's Bill Murray.
He's Bill Murray. And he makes more money than I do. So it's, but maybe, I don't know, you know. There were a lot of things going on that I have no clue. I'm one of those people who sort of go through life clueless, you know. I mean, I don't see a lot of things, and that's okay. I'm good with that, you know. People say, did you see how, you know, I go, no, I missed all of that, so.
Question over here. Sure, right here. Oh, let me get you, then I'll go over there.
Would you ever consider doing a voice acting for the Halo video games?
That's a good question.
Would I consider being a voice actor for Halo?
The Halo video games.
If there's a steady paycheck in it. No, I do a lot of voiceover stuff, or a fair amount. I did the Transformers television show, did Agent Fowler, the Batman, I'm the new, whatever that character's name, Lucius Fox. I've done movies I can't remember the titles, you know. But yeah, so I do a fair amount of stuff, you know. The Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2 and 3, I think I did the voice. But I love doing voiceover stuff, so it's cool. And I would, yeah, sure, I'd consider it if I was offered the job. I can't do the dance to get a job. That's how I know I've gotten older. You know, I used to go on audition and try. I just can't do that anymore. You know, but if they want me to work, I'd love to do the work. You know? Yeah. So how many actors here? Are you guys actors? You're just sort of actor. You know, yeah, good. Artists? How many artists? You guys artists? Okay, over here. Oh, cool. More artists than actors. Great. Do they do much filming down here? Because now they're going out into the States and doing a lot more. So much work went up to Canada now. Now that Louisiana's doing some stuff, I know, and the Carolinas. And so. Yeah. Well.
Here we go.
All. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
First off, Winston Zeddemore is my favorite Ghostbuster ever.
Okay, good.
And you did great playing him.
I've heard that before, but I've never heard anybody tell me that when Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd was around. I'm just saying.
Well, I feel special. Secondly, I know that Harold Ramis, he wrote the first 2 Ghostbusters, right?
Well, it was Danny Aykroyd's idea. Danny sort of had an idea with him and Belushi. And then Belushi died, and that's when Bill Murray sort of came. And he took it to Ivan Reitman, who got him and Harold together, and Danny and Harold wrote the first and second script. And they contributed a lot. I'm not sure if they got credits for just writing it on the video game. So, so it's mostly Danny who's really into. I mean, he really believes all the, you know, the Spectre, the history. His grandfather was very involved with Houdini and a bunch of others. So his family kind of goes back, and they believe in, you know, he's really serious about it. So.
Well, my question is, were there any ideas left on the table from Harold Ramis prior to his death that's going to be put into this third or reboot movie coming out next month?
You know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. This is a Paul Feig movie, which is very different. I mean, he did his own thing with it. He wanted to do his own thing with it. I know Danny contributed, but it was all up to Paul. So it's going to have his sort of kind of flavor, you know. So I don't know. Yeah.
Question. Here we go.
Hello. Of all the roles you've done, specifically in film, are there any that you're not a big fan of? You know, least favorite roles?
Is there any least favorite roles?
Right.
I tend to like the movies or the roles that I get paid more. I'm not sure why that, you know, the more I make, the more I kind of enjoy the experience. No, I don't know. I don't think I like to work. So some roles have been popular, some haven't. But I'm sure there's some that, but like I said, I don't see a lot, and I don't remember a lot of the stuff that I didn't enjoy. I just like to work, you know. Yeah, I don't remember too much of the bad stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so, sorry.
I was wanting to know, I definitely recognized you from The Crow right off the bat, as well as obviously your work from Ghostbusters. Does it ever aggravate you that people pretty much recognize you from pretty much one role versus all the other stuff you've been involved in?
No, people who recognize me for anything, I'm happy. You know, I'm just happy to be, hey, it's a little, it throws you off a little bit when they say, oh my God, I can't believe it's you. I love you in designing women. You know, or some movie that you didn't do, and you don't have the heart to correct them. You know, I want to say, you know, I go, thank you. So, but if it's something that I did, it's most is Ghostbusters, but you know, probably I've done enough movies where before the day is over, somebody will mention The Cowboy Way or The Human Tornado, or somebody will find one of those other movies. But mostly Ghostbusters comes up a lot. And that's okay, I don't really, you know, because, you know, it's funny, we respond to movies differently, and everybody kind of, sometimes there's a character in a movie that nobody else saw, but you really just remember. And in fact, somebody mentioned the Cherokee Kid. I played the character named Deadwood Dick that I hadn't thought of in a long time, and somebody this morning mentioned that character. So I've been doing it for 50 years, and there's a lot of movies, and people may have seen the video last night. And when you're in other countries, people will come up, and so it's a little weird, a little odd, but no, it doesn't bother me, anything that I've done, unless it's something I didn't do.
Here we go.
The one thing I wanted to know, huge Ghostbusters fan, why not the original cast? I mean, I'm not talking about the new movie, but you know, for years, and like on YouTube, online and stuff, I've heard, you know, that Aykroyd and like Bill Murray, and you guys were talking about getting back together to do a third movie.
Right.
Do you know anything about that? Like I heard that. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I've heard Murray and Aykroyd just couldn't get their timing together. Like he wanted to do it 1 minute, and the other one didn't. Do you know like what the main reason that you guys just didn't come together and do a third movie?
No, I don't really know absolutely for sure why there wasn't another movie. I have my suspicions, but would you like to hear my suspicions? Well, I think Bill Murray is very kind of unique, and he sort of does what he wants to do, and he's probably the only person I've ever met who you can't bribe. I mean, which is weird to me because you can bribe me. I mean, you know, so I would go, no, hell no, and then they say a certain amount of money, and I go, oh, well, okay, maybe. But Bill Murray really just does what he wants to do, and he's been very successful at it. I respect the fact that he has that kind of integrity to just go, I don't want to do it. And after the second Ghostbuster movie, which he never really liked, and they told him they would fix it in production, and when we got in production, the things that he had issues with, they never corrected. So he felt like he got burned that time, and he just said, no. Then sometimes he'd think about it, and then he'd, you know, there are other reasons too, I'm sure, but I think that probably had more to do with it than anything. If Bill Murray had said, I want to do it, it would have been done. Because, you know, it's a great movie and it's a great ensemble cast, but Bill Murray really drives the movie, his character, Peter Venkman. And so I think that's pretty much, and yet when the idea of the Girls movie came up, he was 100% behind it and wanted to be a part of it. So, go figure, I don't know. I wish they had done another one. I mean, I could have used another Ghostbuster in there, you know. But I was never the issue. They would always announce, we're doing another movie, and we have Ernie Hudson. I go, nobody's talked to me about that. I mean, they just assumed that we can get Ernie. Everybody can get Ernie. But I think probably that had more to do with it than anything else.
Of all the places you have filmed, where has been your favorite place to film a movie?
I did The Crow, and after the accident happened on The Crow, Brandon Lee died, and it was kind of a dark period for me, you know, and so I got asked to go to Australia to do a movie called No Escape, and we shot up on the Tablelands and down in Sydney and north of Sydney, and it was really a great. I've gone there to work a couple of times, but that was fun. And oddly enough, I shot a movie, The Dirty Dozen, Part 4, in Yugoslavia before the war, and that was fun. But you know, I like to work, so I don't like being in places where it's cold. You know, I hate getting cold. And yet I just signed to do a new television series called APB. We're shooting in Chicago this winter. And then first you really have to get the job, and you go, wait a minute, Chicago? It's like, I did a series up in Vancouver, and it was so cold. And Vancouver is not as cold as some parts of Canada, but it was so cold that the series was canceled, and I was really so excited to not have to be there. Yeah, no, most of what we do, we're kind of vagabonds. I mean, as actors, we go where the work is. You know, I'm on the road a lot, and yeah, you know, so that's all part of the trade, I guess. Unless you're lucky enough to get a series that shoots in one place and you do it for 6 or 7 years. But the one thing you know as an actor, no matter what job you do, it's going to be over shortly. It's not like a job, you take a job and you're going to be here for the next 10, 15 years. No, you're going to be unemployed in about 2 weeks or 2 days or, you know, a day. So nothing lasts in this business. So you have to go where you need to go. They asked me to do during the Hurricane Katrina, there was a movie shooting near Louisiana someplace, and it was kind of in the water. It was, you know, it was a few weeks after, but it just, you know, some places you kind of go, nah, You know, I don't think so. You know, but anyway, but yeah, no, I just, you know, yeah, I can adjust pretty much.
For the sake of your fans, could you please sing the theme song so we can all record those?
Well, no, there was another black guy who sang this song. It wasn't me. I mean, I kind of joke about that, but really, I think I've been confused with probably every black actor that's ever worked, but it's kind of weird. And I go, oh yeah. But no, Ray Parker, I know you knew that. But I don't sing unless there's a steady paycheck in it, in which case. But I love the song. The song kind of, and I'm curious to see what the new song will be for the new movie, because that song was so popular. It's a great song.
It's already out. It's
the new song.
Interesting.
How do you like it?
It's interesting.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to. I mean, they should have just got Ray Parker to do another version of his song. Right. You know, because I mean, really, it's a great song.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
I'll just listen to it in my car before I go see the new movie and forget that Fall Out Boy touched a Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah, so, I think it. I don't know. It's kind of hard. I didn't understand that. They, you know.
Yeah.
I think Ray Parker's song was so cool and so good, but I think the studios never liked it. They kind of got stuck with it. So every time they come up with something new, they try to get rid of it, but the fans keep insisting on this song. The video game was the same way, and then so.
Here we go.
Mr. Hudson, with all the roles you've done, your voice acting, all the different movies, what's the one role that's been dearest to you for whatever reason that you loved?
Well, you know, I'm an actor, and so what you do is, if you're lucky, if you're really, really lucky in this business, you find a role that is so perfectly fit for you that it changes your world. And I never had a role that I felt just really showed what I could do. So there are a few roles that I kind of think you have to take a little bit of that role and a little bit of this one. And I love the role in The Crow because I like Brandon a lot, and I really like Brandon. He was really cool. And I like that character in The Crow. And the Ghostbusters stuff was fun, even though it was kind of weird being in the group because they were so close. You know, you're with a group of people and they've been working together for a long time, and they're like really tight. And they'll be in the middle of a discussion, but you're all in there. And then they'll say, we got to come up with something to say because what do we're leaving the room, and so what do we say? And you're like there, and you say, well, why don't we just say, let's go? And then they don't hear you, they keep talking. And then one of the other guys say, why don't we say, let's go? And they go, great idea. You go, what the hell was that about? I mean, it's like, was I here? But I love the guys in the Ghostbusters. Congo, I love Congo because I thought I really looked cool. I thought I looked cool in Congo, you know. There's so many roles I'm not the guy who gets to be the cool guy. So in Congo, The Hand Rocks the Cradle, I like that guy. He touched my heart, and I felt he was a better part of because every character is you, but it's a little bit different version of you. You know, the character in Oz was just a very frustrated man who could never get to the bottom of anything. He'd always say, we're going to get to the bottom of this. We had 12 people killed, and he never figured anything out. I mean, 8 seasons, he yet to figure anything out. But he tried hard, and I liked his commitment. That's when I learned you don't look at your, don't go online and find out what the fans think of you. Because I did that with Oz, and after reading a bit, I thought, I can't do this.
Oz was a great series.
It was a great series.
It was a great series.
You know, you can only hear you suck so many times. But yeah, no, I love doing Oz. So they're all very special in their own way, you know. Cool. Yeah, the only thing that frustrates me is when I'm in a show where I don't do anything. They go, well, we really want Ernie. We got to have Ernie Hudson. Only Ernie Hudson can do this role. And then you get there and you go, but what's the role? There's no role. There's nothing. You go, no, we just. So you're just there going, what the heck am I doing here? They're paying you a lot of money, but I'm not doing anything, you know. I did 8 episodes of Desperate Housewives. So they called me to do, a friend of mine who was actually in Ghostbusters, he was in the mayor's office. He was on the show, and he had this thing with Bree. He was a detective who was chasing her, and but he got a new series, so he had to leave the show. So they said, we want you to come in and be the detective. And so I thought, great, I'm going to do Desperate Housewives. So I wonder which of the housewives I'm going to sleep with. I mean, is it, you know what I mean? It's got to be one of them. I mean, and then they go, no. You're the detective. And you come in and say you're arrested, and then you leave so we can do our, so it's when I'm in a show that I don't feel like I'm really contributing anything. I'm just there for whatever reason. That's frustrating to me because you want to work. I mean, at the end of the day, and it's not about the money. You know, people talk about actors don't really make a lot of money. When you add it up, you work a show, you see an actor on a TV series, and he works for 2 weeks, and he got paid well for 2 weeks, but he might not work again for the rest of the year. So when you add it all up, it's not exactly a high-paying. There are a few people there, but in general. But ultimately, it's not even about the money. It's about you want to. Our work is what. It's kind of who we are. You know, I think our work is our gift to. And so that part is frustrating. So when you see me in something, I'm kind of standing around and looking stupid. Those are the roles that I really. That's the work. That's when it really sucks. But yeah, but I love what I do, so I got no complaints. So yeah, well, was that?
We got like a couple more.
I'm sorry, I didn't see you back there.
Mr. Hudson, do you have any one particular favorite line?
Do I have any one? But you know, lines are funny because you say a line in a movie and you never think that it was going to be popular, and somebody will, you know, years later, people come up to me when I'm on the street and say, "Hey, Ernie, that's a big Twinkie." You know, now when you do the movie, you don't think, you know, but 30 years later, it's, especially in the first Ghostbusters. And then they'll have a line that they think is going to be, they'll say, this is going to be a great line. You say this line and, oh, people are going to love it. And so, and then nobody cares, you know, like, I hate Jell-O. Like, and people say, I hate you for saying I hate Jell-O. It's like, it doesn't work. But lines are, yeah, there's a lot of lines from films people will attach to or identify with. And there were a lot of lines in The Crow that were good lines. Yeah, so.
Mr. Hudson, it's a pleasure meeting you. One of my favorite movies you did was The Substitute. You had this one line and it was like, power perceived is power achieved. Yeah, power perceived is power achieved. And like, you know, after the first Substitute movie, like all the other ones came along the way, but it just didn't really do it for me after the other ones. The first no, there were several Substitute movies, but they were all pretty bad, primarily because I wasn't in them. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. There's something satisfying about when they do it again and they don't include you and it doesn't work. You actually feel pretty good about it. But I love Tom Berenger. You know, the character was a little weird. Wasn't one of my favorite characters, but he was a bad guy, and I like doing bad guys sometimes. You know, selling drugs on school buses don't make you really an endearing character. But yeah. So do you ever get a chance to keep in contact with like any of the cast from Substitute or Oz? Or I know you still probably communicate still with the Ghostbusters. I'm sure you do that, but I just kind of wonder like some of your other projects like The Substitute and. Well, you know, Tom Berenger and I are really, really good friends. We're such good friends I haven't seen him in about 20 years. No, we did a movie called Smoking Aces, but actors are because you can really get close because we're doing these scenes. And then when the movie's over, you kind of go, "Oh man, listen, what are you doing? Call me because you know we'll get together. We'll have lunch, and because I'm going to be here because I don't leave town." And okay, so yeah, so you never call. The call never happens. And it's not that people like deliberately are lying about it. You really mean to, but things change with a phone call.
and people get busy. But I see Tom sometimes, and Bill Forsythe, we did about 5 projects after that. So usually it's the work, the people you work with. You're on location, you get to be close. But I was a single dad, so I don't really hang out with anybody. I'm not a good hanger-outer kind of person. So, but yeah, no, I like that movie, and the people on that movie as well.
I just got one more thing to say. You're like one of my favorite actors of all time. I really appreciate everything that you do. And for one, you know, my brother-in-law brought me here. He told me you was gonna be here. Like, I'm such a big fanboy, you know, of Ernie, and I was like, man, I gotta get down there. I gotta admit it first, when I heard that they was doing the reboot to Ghostbusters, I wasn't really happy. I was like, it's not broken, so you can't fix it. You know, you guys did, I mean, it was like perfect after you did 1 and 2. And I was like, I was that guy that was kind of waiting on 3, and when the 3 never came into fruition, I was like, well, maybe they're gonna wait a little while longer. And then years came by. I just said, you know, I guess they're not gonna do another one. Then I heard this little reboot. I gotta admit it first. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one here, but I wasn't really happy about it because originals are hard to, I mean, once it's been done perfectly, I mean, it's really
yeah, but I think we, I think the original movie was really an incredible movie. I think pretty much, well, 30 plus years we're still talking about it, so that's good. But the truth of the matter is, movies are like, I read this someplace, they used to be classic. We have these great movies and we watch them over and over again. But nowadays, it's kind of like fashion. It's like you got the, you know, it was great for that year, but now it's a new year, so we want to see it, you know, it's not about the old one, it's about redoing it and retelling it, and that's okay, I guess. I mean, you know, and you can't take away from the old one is still there. So, yeah, so the only thing I cared about was whether I'm going to be in it, and but I love the franchise, so I'm glad they're, and I see a lot of little girls who they have their Ghostbuster outfits, and you know, so why not have a movie with girl Ghostbusters? I don't know why it has to be just girls or just guys, but it's just me. So yeah, it's all good, and you can always watch the old one again. I mean, it's not going anywhere. You know?
That's right. You got time for a couple more questions.
You mentioned this earlier, Congo. Congo is one of our favorite movies.
Oh,
we watch
good.
it all the time, every time it comes on. It hasn't been on a while, but we love it. And you filmed on location for Congo, and you're here in Mississippi. What is the hottest location you've ever had to film on in any of your films or movies?
I didn't catch all that. You guys hear that?
She said you filmed in Congo, and now you're here in Mississippi, where it is like one of the most ridiculously hottest places in the United States.
Right, but they don't have gorillas here, right?
Maybe. No promises, Ernie Hudson.
Okay.
What is the hottest location you've ever filmed on?
The hottest location? I was going through near Las Vegas. You know, the desert. Like, I think you had temperature like 130 degrees last week or something. It's like crazy, you know what I mean? It's like the paint on your car melts.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
It's like it really gets hot. So the heat I can kind of deal with. The cold is just, it's something else. And I just moved to Minnesota, which I don't even understand, but my wife's from Minnesota, so I'm there, and I'm like, why am I here? You know, but I just don't like getting cold.
Last one.
Hey, so one of my favorite scenes in Ghostbusters is when you and Dan Aykroyd are in the car and you're talking about, you're throwing around theories of what's going on, and he throws out his scientific theories, and
right.
you know, you throw out your apocalypse theories, and it's one of the more serious scenes in the movie, but I thought it was really effective. What was one of your favorite scenes in Ghostbusters?
Well, you know, I like that the discussion of the Bible and the end of the world, because I think we all have some kind of connection. You know, we all know that at some point we got to get out of here, and we're all going to make a transition. No matter how you try to pretend it's not going to happen, we know it's going to happen. And when you're a kid, who's in the closet when they turn the lights out? So it's all a part. So Ghostbusters kind of dealt with that in a way, and made it kind of, you know, funny. So that scene was because Danny believed in that stuff. So all that stuff he was writing is stuff that he believed in. But I like Bill Murray's character because he's you really like him a lot, but he's really kind of a jerk. I mean, he really is. He's kind of a jerk, but he's charming. So the scene in the beginning when he's doing the fake test, with the girl and the guy, and he's shocking the guy, and I just thought that was funny. So that was my favorite scene. That scene in the library when the librarian for the first time, that was like, it was shocking to me. And when the librarian sort of happened, the movie started. And then you knew you were on a ride, and that to me was really amazing filmmaking. So. But yeah, so listen, guys, it's been fun. Normally, I have this sort of predetermined thing, but I got nothing. I'm tired. It's hot outside, But you guys are great. I appreciate you all for being here, and this beautiful lady here who came by the table. Yes, this lady.
It's you.
Yeah, stand up and let everybody,
Yep. Give her a round of
this
applause.
lady here. That's right. Yeah, I came in. I didn't sleep well last night because I was traveling, and I was really tired. And this lady came to the table and gave me a hug and made my day just much better. So thank you, and thank all of you guys for coming.